Good morning. I am Madam Eileen. Are we ready to learn some very fun stuff today? Well, we're doing a carousel. I'm going to start with the horse. Sometimes it's easier to start what's in the middle and then work your way outwards, then make the outer frame and then try to make the small animal fit inside. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to make our carousel horse. I have a good hand's width tail on this. Now it's supposed to be a small horse, so you gotta think small. We're gonna do a small pinch twist. Do you have a problem making a pinch twist at the end of your balloon? I'm going to show you a trick. Okay, so you isolate a small bubble, grab the knot, not the nozzle. You want to grab the knot. Trap the bubble in the middle, knot's on this side, beginning of the balloon is on this side. That's what you want to have. Then pick up and twist that little bubble until it becomes a bean shape. Now I take the nozzle and I go around again with the nozzle, and if there's room, I try to tuck it through the loop that I made with my finger, and that holds your pinch twist on. And then I do a second one. Now there's a few different methods on how to start a balloon off, but these are the kissy lips of our horse. A little head. Now you're going to do 2 tiny pinch twists. Even though this is a 2-inch diameter balloon, you can still squeeze it down smaller and isolate and pinch a tiny bubble. You want to do 2 tiny pinch twists. So there's 1 tiny pinch twist, and here is 2. 2 little tiny bubbles, 2 little ears for our horse. Once you get the other balloon in, those ears stick really nicely. And do regular dog legs. Now this is the next tricky part. I'm going to set this down. It's a carousel horse, so you need to do the pull that the carousel horse is going to be on. We don't need all of it, so again, I am blowing it up so it's just a hand's width tail at the end. You're going to put 3 pinch twists on the top of this. I'll show you another technique for getting that first section pinch twist. You isolate the bubble, take your fingers and hold that spot right there with these last 2 fingers on your hand. Then you're going to do a second bubble, trap it, and pull up and twist. Then you're going to do another bubble, pull this down to the side, pull it up, and twist. Now I have 2 pinch twists and a bubble. I take the nozzle of that bubble and pull up and around the other 2 pinch twists, and that will cause this first bubble to look like a pinch twist. And then you arrange them sideways. Now pulling and stretching also thins the balloon a little bit. My carousel horse needs some clearance, so that's what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring. I'm going to do 2 little pinch twists here on the back. See how I've measured and then put the 2 pinch twists in? And also they're tiny, kind of like the ears. Now we're going to do 2 dog legs. Oh. If your balloon is twisted in the wrong way, all you have to do is grab it and rotate it at that joint that we've made. And now it's in the right direction. Now we're going to do 2 little back legs. You could make the horse out of the smaller balloons, which are 1/60s. All right, now that we have that, we come back here to the beginning. If we want to push that head back, you put one more pinch twist right here at the front. We pinch and isolate a bubble. Now pulling it to the side and twisting it would be difficult. So I'm going to see how I put 2 fingers there to keep this from untwisting, and then I pull the whole length of the balloon around. I twist it around a tight spot, and that twisting causes that bubble to turn into the perfect little bean shape. Also, when it's small like this, it might be hard to break the extra off. That's when I get my scissors. Give a little snip, let the air out, and then I run that track between the legs, and that ties it in. Now let's put the mane on. I chose blue, just so it shows up easier. My carousel is going to be pink. There is a technique for making these balloons inflate even longer and thinner, but that's not my secret to share, is it? There is so much fun to do on balloons. Now there's a balloon artist. He makes a whole bunch of spinning balloon designs, and when I came up with this, I did ask permission to share this with you. And he says he doesn't mind me sharing his technique. All right, I made a little loop. And now I'm going to bring down to the bottom of the neck. Just twisting long enough to catch underneath. I'm not necessarily wrapping it around multiple times. Back up to the ears. Now, if you want to add a little fun contrast, I then make a whole bunch of tiny bubbles. As long as my fingers don't let go of the bulk of the balloon, it will not untwist and spin out of control. So that you have to remember to always maintain contact with your balloon when you're making strings of pearls or a series of bubbles. I made one bubble too many, so I'm going to let that untwist. I'm going to use my thumb to push it into the joint of the neck and the leg, and then walk the balloon by twisting and rotating the balloon. It will want to naturally walk around the legs. Now I can break this part off and move it, or I can pull the air out into a string, pull the air out of the balloon, and the balloon becomes a long string. And then I can attach and roll it here at the tail. Get the balloon in between the pinch twist, and you could do two techniques. This is what I want to do though. You can fold it, push your thumbs in, crisscross and roll. Push your thumbs in, crisscross, roll, catch again, crisscross, roll. And I can make a twisted tail like that. That's one technique to do the tail. The other way is I want to do a whole bunch of string of bubbles, and I'm going to let them just twist them up on themselves. I think this makes your balloon look fancier. quite small and delicate. This carousel horse will not go up and down, but the carousel will spin around. I'm starting to run out of air. The air has nowhere to go, it's trapped. If you do your string of pearls, they will not long enough, they will naturally want to twist around like that. Now that I have the string of pearls where I want them, the last bubble that I made, I push it into the joint of those two pinch twists. I squeeze my balloon just slightly smaller and then I roll. I squeeze it slightly smaller and then I roll the balloon. And go around once or twice and it will naturally lock in. Now, to break the balloon, my fingers are going to go in opposite directions while closing at the same time. And when you do it fast enough, you get heat, speed, and the balloon will just break. Ta-da! If you can get the air out of that section when the break happens, then there's no loud pop. It's just a very soft sound. Some artists train themselves to be really, really good at breaking balloons without the popping sound. Because sometimes our customers really don't like to hear that popping sound. Sometimes we don't like to hear that popping sound. All right. Now, one thing that I think would make this look more like a horse, carousel horse, is if I take a little 160 yellow. This is a scrap, so I'm tying the end so I can inflate the air. There it is. We're going to do little harness rings. I'm going to do it the tiniest little pinch twist I can manage at the end. I'm going to stretch and pull it really narrow. There it is. I want the bigger pinch twist to be at the top to make it look more horsey. And then I do a little tiny bubble and I pull it into the neck joint. That kind of pulls the head forward and arches it down. And I'm going to do a tiny little bubble, about 1.5 inches to match. And I try to go around that little teeny pinch twist that we first made. These are little details that may be hidden by the carousel, but we know it's there. Just to add extra security, I'm wrapping the tail of my yellow into the horse. Now this is where we can draw the eyes. Or here's an eye option you might not have thought about. Self-stick googly eyes. Now, Miss Peterson has stickers. Those are really good. Right now, I am just looking at what size of eye I want to put on my horse. I could do tiny, I could do medium, or I can do big. I want to use big because it's going to catch the eye. Check that out. It's different. That's what using these is do. It's not better or worse, it's just different. And then I use my marker, and I like retractable markers. I trace the eye by going around and giving 3 flicks up. You can see the prettiest pony. Now we're going to put her in a cage. back to the gold balloon with 3 pinch twists on the top. This is essential to actually have 3 because this is how it's going to twist, or it's how the carousel is going to spin. You take the little balloon. I want to show you the belly of my horse. When you pinched and pulled the air out of that section and stretched it and then wrapped it around the legs, if you let go of your pinch too soon, that area you just got air free is going to refill up with a little bit of air and it's going to puff out. So that's what happens under there. But since it's at the belly of a horse, no one's going to see it because it's going to be inside a carousel. So it's like threading a needle. You pull the tail through, and now we slide the rest of the pull. And when you start sliding, you don't want to stop. If you stop, it'll stick. And when it sticks, I pull the gold balloon and tuck, and then I push in the gold balloon on the other side, push in, and I tuck. And that's how I walk it down. So you need enough headroom to clear the horse. And then you need the floor of the carousel. This is where we're going to do 3 pinch twists as well. So pinch, put it together, twist. I have a essentials of balloon twisting videos, and it explains in detail about these pinch twists, how to make them, how to make multiple pinch twists together. All right, I have 3. I do not need the rest of this, but I'm going to use it for something else, maybe. Break and tie, there it is. I also have another video that talks about how to exercise, but I'll recap. If your fingers are having a hard time with the balloon twisting, you can get these little metal clamps and work out by pushing. Yeah, you see, I had to use my top finger to push down. But that's what I did. I work out on my fingers and I strengthen my fingers with these little resistant weights. They're just craft clamps. You can get them at different strengths. Here is a clear one. This came with a helium balloon. It's very weak, but kids might have an easier time working out with clamps of different strengths. At the dollar store, I found pink tipped clamps. I even work out with my pinky. That's how I make my hands strong to deal with the balloons. All right, now, just to make sure that this doesn't unravel, I do like to put my thumb down, wrap the balloon around the joint, and then tuck the tail through the loop that went around my thumb. Just a over-under knot to fully secure my little pony. Now we're going to make the cage of the carousel. You're going to need 6 260s. I think that if I used 160s, it'd be lighter in weight, spin better, but 160s don't last as long as a creation made out of 260s. The 260s, the rubber is a little thicker, and the air doesn't have a chance to escape out of the pores of this natural product. All right, I am going to use my filbert pump. This is a professional clown pump. Up and down. How much to leave? You want to leave 4 fingers. And this is going to take just a minute because well, there's only so fast you can inflate a balloon. A trick to inflating. I want 4-finger tail, so I pre-measure the 4 fingers and I have it pinched. And then I put this on my inflation device. And when it inflates, it's going to inflate and stop at my pinch. Ta-da! And that way you'll always know that the balloon is at the right stopping point. Now, if I tie each of these individual balloons, that can take some extra time. This is how you get away from that. You take a balloon that's already tied, you take your untied balloon, you wrap them around each other, and then you tie the over under knot. Put your finger there, crisscross, one goes under, ta-da! That is how you shorten your tying time. It also makes the knot at the center of the spokes smaller. Almost forgot to measure. Oops, I'm going to just start tying. And one more pink. That around. All right. Okay. We have a total of 6 pink inflated. Have any of you done the hat weave? This is very similar to the hat weave. Okay, now that we have our spokes, we're going to attach the carousel horse. I'm going to have to pinch all the joints of the 6 and grab it and push and twist it against the 3 pinch twists on the pole. And I take one of the spokes and I roll just the one spoke around, and now it's fully attached. Spread those spokes out. Now I look and see, oh, there you go. I look and see how far out the horse is. Now remember, when we bend it down this direction, it's not going to bend right there. This is a 2-inch balloon. It's going to go in an inch here and here. So I need to make sure that I go over at least 1 or 2 inches. And that's where I isolate a bubble, do a small bubble, and I do a pinch twist, and that will point it down. Now I'm going to go around the whole top of the spoke to get it pointed down, and then we're going to make a pinch twist and pull it in like this. You don't want to go out too far, because this pitting toy is supposed to be between your arms, and you have to be able to hold your hands up and down, and there needs to be enough room between your hand and your elbow or your armpit, your body, for it to spin. So careful about making that too long. That's why it's important to pull and make the inner animal as small as possible. And now you compare the spokes, find out where the twist is, and just do that all the way around. I like to do stuff up in the air. So this will be off a camera for just a little bit. And the last spoke. Now we're going to go down. You can use your hand to measure how long that pole is. Now, if you make this too tall, this is going to push up. But if it's just at the right height, it'll pull down like the tent's angling down on a carousel. And then do the same thing that we did. Once you have your measuring guide, compare, pinch, a bubble, the pinch was there, compare, pinch at that joint, If you want to start doing the cage and then put the horse in the center, you can do that. Balloon twisting is all about being creative and having fun. It's okay to tweak someone else's design. You might come up with something new. All right, I've gone around all 6. Now that I've measured the out, I need to measure the in. If it's exactly the same, I end up with a box. But if I do it slightly in, it's going to be, again, angled very much like carousels usually are. So I'm going to go a hand and a thumb. Units of measurement: 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4 fingers, a hand and a thumb, a hand's width. These are all common units of measurement that a balloon artist uses. It's just shy of a hand and a thumb. But I like how it pulls down at an angle. We're going to push that into the joint and wrap around. If I want to save balloon tying time into the center, I can go a hand and a thumb out and connect here to that pinch twist. So this balloon doesn't need to go in. So I'm not fighting each time I go in. I'm only fighting to go in one time. So hand and a thumb, push it against that joint, wrap it around. Now a hand and a thumb, and I'm going to connect to an outer point. I mean, yes, it would be easy to bring all the outside points in, but then each time you bring one balloon in to tie it off, you're messing with that whole knot and everything here in the center. So I'm just saving some time and agony by only taking one balloon in and then out. So I'm really only having to do this 3 times going to the center. It also puts less stress on that inside balloon. Too much rubbing, you get friction, you get heat, you get popping, and you get leaking. Have you had a leak? It's when you make your balloon creation, and as it sits, you hear a little creak. And then you hear another creak. And before you know it, something on your balloon creation has deflated, and it's twisted and being pulled, and it just looks weird. Well, that's why. Okay, but now I'm trying to find where is my next one going in. Oh yeah, see, the extra balloon people get a little lost from time to time, but all who wander are not quite lost. I'm wandering right now, wandering in my thoughts. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. There you are. 5, and there's 6. So you see, this is the culprit that I lost track of. Hand and a thumb. Wrap it around that pinch twist. Before I break this off, I just want to show you what it's looking like so far. Also, you see these sides are angled down and in. That makes it look really fun. I could now go along the sides here and put the floor of the carousel in. I did want to use a purple, a dark base color to make it look visually heavy. So that's the bottom, but you don't want to waste balloons. So that's what I'm going to do now. I am going to use these extra balloons now One's going left. Since there's 2 balloons on every other joint, I'm going to go crisscross. And let's see, how much room did I use? I used a hand and the joint of my thumb. So I'm going to measure a hand, and at the joint of my thumb is where I'm going to pinch the floor off. This balloon is almost used up, but I have plenty of tail on this one, so I'm going to continue around. Now, don't kill me for saying there's no right or wrong on balloon twisting. You don't have to be consistent all the way around. Use what works. Look at the balloon. How much tail is it? Do you want... I can continue going around. With just one balloon. But see, this balloon is not long enough to complete the last 2 sections. And if I stop here, there's no balloon here to go over. I would have to break this off, tie it, retie it here, and then go across. But look how long this is. This can go all the way across on its own. So this is where I'm going to switch. I'm going to use this poke, a hand, and then twist up the thumb joint, pull it in a hand, and a thumb joint, and pull it in. So the floor of our carousel is smaller than the roof, which just adds to making the roof look more angled, more fun. You don't want to be a square and be boring. Okay, wrap it around my thumb just to hide the joint. Okay, I'm going to break and tie all the rest of these. When I have 2 balloons together, instead of just wrapping around my thumb around the joint, I just go ahead and I secure it by doing 2 over-under knots, like that. And I'm giving it a little snip. Scissors, come back. And same here. Sometimes when you have a good length of balloon and you are making several balloons, like what if I had like 2 or 3 carousels, I would take out a little bit of air so I have a tail, and then tie a knot here, and I set this aside, and so if I'm twisting something same day, I can reuse this balloon and it's already inflated and I don't have to worry about it. Just a little over-under knot. If one of these bubbles on the spoke of the Ferris wheel pop, your whole creation can come undone. So there's my little horse trapped in its carousel. You can angle it so the horse is pointing and can be seen easily through the spokes, rather than having the nose pointed at the spoke. Now decoration time. We can still add purple on the bottom, or, and I'll show myself, how do I want to do this? There's so many fun ways. It's very hard to decide sometimes. I'm going to go with lavender. I want to put lavender on the roof. Because I have 6 spokes, and the rough estimate is you want to have 1 finger space of tail for every twist that you're planning to do. So there's 6 pinch twists that I'm going to go around. So I want at least a 6-finger tail, and I have given myself a 4-finger tail. Let's see how far we can get around before I run out of balloons. Wrap that around. You go across. Now you might wonder, do I need to measure hand and the thumb across? No, what you do is you line it up just in front, pinch the middle, where the middle of the pink balloon is, and then I push that twist joint into the joint underneath the pinch twist, and then I go around. I just go around once because I'm going to be putting some other decorations on here. Let's see. Find that middle. Go around. Find the middle where I want there. That's good. Pinch. Go around. The more times you go around, the more balloon you're going to use. And look at that. I was so close. I'm going to have to get another Lavender 260. It does not need to be fully inflated because it's only going around 2 pinch twists. Grab the knot. You want to always grab the knot and pull that around the pinch twist. The knot can create a point of friction on the balloon. So by holding that knot, only your fingers are rubbing on the balloon. Your fingers are nice and smooth, and that knot, it's knotty. It'll pop your creation. I'm going to finish going around the carousel before I pop off the extra balloon there. Another thing you can do to decorate your balloon is those press-on gems. I don't have any, but I was at a birthday party and I made a Among Us. My reach. It's just out of reach. I made an Among Us, and the little boy decorated it with blingy sparkles, and then gave it back to me as a present. You can't hurt little kids' feelings at a birthday party, so I accepted it back and give it to my little boy. I'm a mom. Did you see how it's going to look? But because I don't have blingy sparkles, I do have gold chrome 260. Just a little bit of air, long tail. We're going to make a string of bubbles. Now, how many bubbles to go from side to side is going to vary according to how big you do your bubbles. You can also do your bubbles different sizes, large to small to large, all the same size, or you could do small, large, small, or start small, go large, go small again. It all depends on your preference as an artist. I'm going to go small to large. And when I get to the halfway point, start reducing. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 4 was just too. Well, or is it just right? Too small, too right. I'm going to leave it. I think it's just right. All right. So, small, a little bigger, medium size, as big as I can get. The biggest I can get. And now medium and smaller and smaller. Push that into the joint. Wrap it around the pinch twist. Little, little, medium, big, big, medium, small, small. Now, I'm not telling you the size of the bubbles because that's going to change on how long you've made your spokes, how wide they are. Because it's always going to vary, you're going to just have to go by perspective, what you see, what you feel. You don't have to do all these little bubbles. I'm going to get another gold. You can just do the gold straight across. Oh, I made that a little too long. I need to squeeze some of the air out. I want to show you how this is coming along. Isn't that exciting? Now, my question is, do I want to put anything gold on the bottom? I wouldn't want to do the strings. That's nice and complicated and really beautiful, but I'm thinking it needs something on the bottom. But anyway, we're going to finish this string of pearls around. I love being an artist. I love making pretty things. Small, small. And yes, I talk to myself normally. Medium, big, big. Actually, my big. Don't do it so big that you lose your roundness and it looks more like an egg or a jelly bean. Too large, medium, small, small. The more slack you have, if it's not tight, it's going to dip down like that, and that is also really good. But everything else is up and tight. I made these too big, so I'm going to have to just let go. I hold it where I want it to stop twisting, right there. Get just a tiny bit tinier. Yep, there we go. That's up a little higher and tighter. Tiny, tiny, medium, big, big, medium. Compare. That's right. I think I made that one too big. And I just need to get around one more. This part of the balloon got stretched out just a little too much, and it has me just a tiny bit worried. But I've gone around the pinch twist. That means if this section pops, I don't have to worry about this section untwisting because it's around that pinch twist at least once. 2 times is better, but if you don't have a lot of time, once will work for making this. Small, small, medium, large, large, medium, small, and look at that. Just perfect. Small. When it's really tight like that, if I pop it, it's going to be really loud. So I like to pinch. So no air is in the tip. Give a little cut, and then I slowly ease my fingers away, and it slowly and quietly deflates. And let's go ahead and put a floor on this. I will have to pull out another. This is chrome gold. If you just ordered gold balloons, you'll find that they're transparent, but you want to get the chrome gold. Now the bottom of the carousel is smaller than the top of the carousel, so I think one balloon will go around, but I'm going to hold one in the balloon and hold and pull the balloon through my other hand to make it a little narrower, but also gives me length. I'm going to put the gold balloon on the bottom side of my floor. So it's more like a floorboard. Most carousels will have a floorboard that you have to step up on to get on the carousel. So that way the gold doesn't overpower the design. You want gold and gold so close together can kind of cancel each other out. The design will get lost. Our focus wants to be on that horse. Am I doing this on screen enough? All right. We have made it all the way around. I always gather my scraps in the basket. I have a basket that I keep my filbert in, and it's the basket that will hold all my extras. So there is the carousel. Now we're going to show you how to make it spin. First, I'm going to just make sure that these 3 pinch twists are as even and flat as possible. I'm going to use a violet, a dark contrasting color. You only need to inflate it. So you have a hand's width tail. We're going to do a small flower petal, but they need to be tiny. These are going to be the handles that you're going to hold and turn. If they're too large, the kid won't be able to turn it decently. So you want the petals teeny, tiny. So when it's folded and twisted, it's really, really tiny. I mean, even that might be too big. I have another essential video that goes over loop twists, how to make them. Right now, I'll just show you. Just make them tiny. You want 5 or 6 petals if possible. Right now, I have 5. I'm arranging them side by side. I'm pulling them apart and laying them down just to make sure that I have them lying flat against each other. Pull apart and then lay them down. That's 5. So the kid would hold it and twist it like this. I think I'm going to stop at 5. Now I'm going to pinch off a little bubble, and we're going to pinch twist that into this. The best way to do it is to take that joint and push it back into the center, and then roll the balloon around the loops up, and that bubble part's looking like a pinch twist, and then down. There you go, and the kid will hold the flower like that to do the turning. This part becomes the attachment for the spinner. The longer it is, the more times the child's going to have to wind it up to get it to spin. So you want to try to make these loops as small as possible so you have a decent sized string that goes up. I like to tie a knot to keep any air from getting back down into that balloon. Wrap it over my finger so I have some tension, and then I wrap it around one of the leaf petals, flower petals. So now I have a loop. I pull up and I find the center of that loop. And I hook the center of the loop around the 3 pinch twists so it pulls up on the top. So when I pull up, there's just that little bit there. If you make these loops too big, you're not going to end up with enough string there on the bottom. Turn it over, and we're going to do that again. This is purple, but on the camera, it's turning up blue. We want to make it tiny, tiny, tiny. I wrap around my thumb, then I pull my thumb out, and then I take the nozzle and I go through the loop to secure that first loop. Your flower will always be twice the length of your loop. So see, it's going to be that big. Make tiny loops because if you want children to be able to do this successfully, you need to make it so they can hold it. Or mom and dad are going to be stuck winding up and spinning the carousel for the kid. One, two. Oh, I think I got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 petals. But I don't think anyone's going to notice. If you do 5 on the one flower, try to do 5 on the other. Okay, I don't snip it off. I just cut in just enough so the air can escape. And then you pull the air out, that snip that you just made, and you tie a knot so air doesn't go back into that vacuum. We've created a vacuum. Science! Okay, now we pull it tight and just get that knot to go around one of the loops so it stays. Find the center of the loop and pull that center. I'm going to go to the pinch twist on the bottom and hook it. And give it a pull. Next carousel is completed. Now, this is how we make it spin. Pay very close attention. You need to spin the top and the bottom in the same direction you want the carousel to spin, or the opposite direction. So I'm going to pull it up, I'm going to twist to my left. And you twist, and you twist. The longer the string is, the longer you're going to have to twist. That's why I don't like to use a separate balloon, because you'll be twisting it forever. Usually, you will twist this 30 times. It doesn't matter if you've twisted the top 30 times and the bottom 20 times, because it will only spin as long as the shortest number of rotations given to the top. This is the longest part of this whole thing. The winding up. Oh, but it's so impressive. Okay, so I'm picking this up and twisting this direction. I could think of it as I'm twisting towards the horse's tail. When I go to the bottom, I twist it towards my horse's tail. I can hear the googly eyes rattling. So here's the tail, and I'm twisting towards the tail. Does this need to be a flower petal? No. I'm wondering if you just did a series of pinch twists and just made a series of 6 pinch twists with one in the center. You just need a knob for the balloon to attach to and for the child to pull. You'll feel it starting to get tight. I believe the name of the artist who was teaching a lot of spinning designs was Josh Clark. You can find his spinning balloon designs on theballoonminati.com. Now I'm cleaning up my design. I'm looking for any loose balloons that didn't get tied or tucked out of sight. It's called hiding the mechanics. People wonder how you did it. It's like being a magician. You can't show them all your tricks. All right, I think we are ready for spinning. Is this one tight enough? All right, we're ready for the spin. To make it spin, you grab the top and the bottom, the top and the bottom. And when you pull them, let's face the horse to you. There's the pretty pony. You can just grab the bottom and pull the top up, or you can try pulling the top and the bottom up at the same time. And let's see, getting on camera, this is what happens. And then close it, it stops. Lift it, close it, lift it, close it, and you have a spinning carousel. Da 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 da. Do, 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 do. Whoa! Magical. So look up Josh Clark's designs. He has a whole bunch of fun spinning designs that you can buy and learn. Happy twisting. Goodbye.